Hey, I'm sitting here with four of our wonderful people from Countryside who have agreed to be part of our lead team for a church assessment that we are going to offer for our congregation. It's called CHAT, Church Health Assessment Tool. And don't you love surveys? Not? Well, we want to do this because we really want to know where we're at as a congregation. And this is a big ask. This is not just a one-question survey. It's going to take people in our congregation 30 minutes or so to complete it. But we're promising you that we'll take the information that we get and use it in a way that will help us set a plan in motion for the future of our church. I want to introduce you to the team. You probably know Rob Robertson. He's up front all the time. Tim Milligan, who's our point person, and appreciate his leadership. We're sitting here with Barb Knieven, and this is her dining room table. And Robin Limpert, who is kind of new to Countryside, and we specifically appreciate you coming and giving us a new person kind of perspective. So we're looking forward to that. Tim, could you kind of start by just telling a little bit what the Church Health Assessment Tool is, sure, and how it works?
So it's an online tool, so for everybody who's digitally inclined, it's an online survey that allows us to collect feedback. It's provided by another organization that puts the survey together, and it ranks 10 different areas of church health. And we've added a few custom questions just to get at the information that we want to know for our local church. But it is available online starting today on the 13th. And if you are not so digitally inclined, we can offer a paper copy if you need it.
And so a person that wanted a paper copy can just let one of us on staff know, and we'd make sure that you get a hard copy, and that would be appreciated too. Sure. We have a goal of about 50% of our adults 15 years of age and older who would participate. That would be a great goal if we could get that many responses. And we hope that you'll take this as a prayerful, careful way for you to give us good feedback about where we are and how we can go forward in the future. I want to start with a question with these guys. When we talk about church health and we say we want to be a healthy church, I'd really like to hear, what do you think of, or what do you hear when I ask you that question or say that we want to be a healthy church? Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Right.
But when I hear the word healthy, I automatically think about going to the doctor or going up for a checkup and trying to think about the decisions you can make to be healthy. So I think this survey is a good indicator, just like going to a doctor. How are we doing as a church? And serving, the people who come.
Yeah. So most of us men don't like going to the doctor.
Yeah.
I wonder, does that indicate that maybe sometimes we put it off and we don't want to face things, where being a healthy church means we're being honest, taking an honest look at the markers, so to speak, of where are we and what do we need to improve on?
Right, and if you meet with your doctor and you're not honest with them, they're going to find out. They're going to take the test. They're going to go through some of the things and they're going to find out. So I think being honest is a big part of what you do with your doctor.
Yeah, and we want people to be really honest with this survey, not to be critical. We want real, honest, good answers, so we have good information to work with, right?
Right. Well, to send a lie on the survey too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, it's a sin. It's a sin. God knows if you lie on the survey. What do you think of when I say healthy church? What's that mean?
Well, for me, and I say this on Sunday mornings when we do the welcome, is the connections that we have together creates healthiness with each other. As we come together, as you said, Robin, we go to the doctor, we We go there because we don't feel really well. I think we can come to when we come to the church and we interact with each other, like we're interacting around this table, we get that sense of healthiness when we know we can come to this place, to this church, and have that kind of connection and interaction. And we can be honest with each other too about what's going on in our lives. And that's when we know we can do that, that gives you that sense of kind of that,
Yeah.
So
you think people coming into Countryside can sense in a way spiritually that this is a healthy place or an unhealthy place?
Absolutely, yeah. Just in connection. So when I know I can come in and I can connect with Robin and Barb and these guys, and when I'm feeling down, I can talk with them, and they can understand me and they know me. There's a feeling of satisfaction or healthiness.
A couple other responses. Anything you have to add?
Well, I guess just to add to what they said, if it's a healthy church, it's going to feel vibrant, right? It's going to feel like energized, and just people are connected. But there's also, in my opinion, that is born out of being grounded in Scripture. Are we doing what Jesus called His church to do? And I think that breeds a vibrant, healthy church. Sometimes it's hard to have your finger on the pulse of all the things that are going on in a church our size. So it's really good to be proactive, whether you're feeling sick and go to the doctor, or whether you're feeling healthy and go for a physical exam. You just want to know that things are okay. That's where I would go with that.
Yeah, I think everybody would recognize that organizations can be healthy or toxic or sick, or they can be working hard to become more healthy. And certainly our asking these questions is not an indication of where we're at. It's an effort to try to determine how we continue to live as a healthy organization.
Right. And like what you were saying about being energized and that connection, it's so important to grow in my relationship with Christ, and it's also vitally important when you're going through something.
Yeah.
Your church family, that could be what brings you up and gets you through a hard time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you say that, Barb, what I think of is a good, healthy organization is able to minister to a lot of different situations. It functions well.
Right.
Like a healthy family. That doesn't mean they won't have hardships.
Right.
It just means they handle those things appropriate. Even like we as in our body, it doesn't mean that we won't have, a flu this winter. Right. A healthy person will be able to come against the flu and overcome that. And the same is true for an organization or church. We will have moments where we'll get a virus, or we'll get a flu bug, or we'll get a bad cold. But hopefully, if we're healthy enough, we'll take those things in stride, bounce back even better, and keep going.
Yeah, this is like a flu shot.
Yeah.
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 There you go. This is your flu shot. Everybody loves that.
I'm going to feel a small pinch.
This is small. Thank you. The good answers. So we're asking a lot when we're asking our people to take 30 minutes at a time and do a survey, which most people don't particularly enjoy those, but we feel like this assessment is worth doing for us as an organization, important. So the question is why? Why would we be asking our people to make this much investment and to give us good, honest feedback?
I can tell you, I didn't grow up a Nazarene, right?
Oh my.
Yeah.
You're pagan?
No. We'll talk about that later. But I've been involved with churches and on committees and boards, and I've actually seen, and the fear would be that if we don't ask these questions of ourselves, then you kind of assume everything's grand and everything's going perfectly, and then all of a sudden it just falls off the cliff, and things happen at the church, and everyone looks back and says, what just happened? And the answers were right there in front of you, but no one asked because we kind of wanted to ignore the elephant in the room, if you will, and just think that everything's okay. And not that there's anything going wrong at Countryside at this point, but you got to ask the questions now so you can continue to grow before it gets to that point, because that's it's too late to ask at that point.
Okay, so you're hoping and we're hoping that we can identify our strengths and weaknesses, so to speak, so we kind of know where to focus our energies, and and if there's any potential problems that might be under the surface or something that we need to address, we could hopefully see those things and be proactive about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. How about the rest of you? Why is this important?
My grandfather was a district superintendent, so I'm like Nazarene royalty.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you are.
Get that boy a crown. I'm not sure that's going to get you in heaven.
You still have to take the survey.
So I work at a company of 130,000 people, and I write policies. That's my job, right? And so the idea of putting a strategy or policy, any kind of thing in place that affects 130,000 people, if I relied only on my own perspective to form that strategy or policy, it's probably going to turn out pretty terribly. My perspective is very limited.
Sure.
So I take a lot of effort to collect feedback from as many people as I can think of that are going to be either affected by whatever we put in place, strategy, policy, whatever it is, or people that are close to the front line of the people who are going to be affected. And so I don't see this any differently. It's an opportunity for us to collect information and really valuable feedback for the people that are involved in the church to understand not only what we're doing well, but what we want to do in the future, and to make sure that the people who are going to be using the ministries and the facilities and the activities that are at the church that are going to be most affected by them, that they get to have some input in the direction and the strategy going forward.
We really do want to be a church where we're all in this together, and whether the people are brand new and only been attending there a little bit or been there forever, like some of you, we still want to kind of continue to value that group, that we come together, we pray together, we work together, and we're better when we do that. So, how about the rest of you? Why would you see this as important, ladies?
You know, for me, it's just so nice to feel like my input is valued. You know, how many situations, even at work, kind of like you were saying, you know, they kind of put something in place and it goes forward, and, you know, you might think of a way to improve things or how to do something different or how to tweak something, but they never ask your opinion. Well, we're asking.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Sure.
And everyone's opinion is valuable. Again, like you were just saying, whether you've been there a long time or a short time, this is your chance to be heard.
And one of the things we're going to promise, Barb, is that when this survey is complete, we're going to come back to the congregation with the results, and we're going to share that.
Yeah.
And then as leaders and a congregation, we're going to take this and really prayerfully begin to try to figure out what does this mean for us, and come back with an action plan, and really be able to say to the congregation, this is what we learned, and we commit ourselves. If you'll take the survey and give us the feedback, we're going to use it and do something that's very significant and purposeful with that. So that leads me kind of my final question. So after the survey's done and we have the results, and we come and we begin to talk about what kind of answers we've gotten from our people, where do you hope this leads us, and how do you hope this benefits the church going forward?
I think it's going to provide different ministries a direction to go in. It's going to let them know whether or not, you know, they're on the right track or if something needs to be changed up, but it's going to give, I think, energy, like we were saying before.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna give some energy to, okay, now what should we do, and how can we do everything better?
Well, I would really, this is going to sound odd, I would really love for us to find something that's unexpected. And a lot of people get a little nervous or a little afraid. Unexpected isn't a bad thing. My oldest sister wasn't expected.
Okay.
So, but it's an opportunity for people to think creatively, think differently. Getting something that's unexpected just challenges the status quo and allows you to go about things more creatively. And you know, God, I believe, is a God of creative empowerment, and He values that, and that's why He gave us that gift. And so let's find something unexpected in the survey, and then let's use that as a tool, you know, to as an opportunity, right, to build and to grow.
I think as a leader and work with board and work with our other leadership people, I think we really do want to be in touch with the desires and the focus. We believe God speaks to us collectively.
Yeah.
And it's not just, he doesn't just speak to the pastor or to, you know, key leaders. He speaks to all of us, and that collectively when we come together, I'm hoping and praying that we can set that course better, that we can do the unexpected things that he shows to us, and we can move forward with a lot of confidence that this is where together God is calling us to go. And as we move forward to the future, that we can see some great things that God has brought us to, and that will be very exciting for us. We commit ourselves to take seriously on the back end the information that we get, and to do everything we can to lay out a really good path for all of us to continue to be the healthiest place where lives can be changed, where people can come to know Jesus Christ, where they can develop and connect with relationships, and where they can use their gifts to be most effective in the kingdom. And that's really what God is calling us to. So thank you for allowing us to have some fun around the table, and I hope it's encouraging to you to participate in this process with us. Thank you.